Okay, so this is a video to show you how, if you're having difficulty, to calculate a GDP in this format. So, first of all, you want to identify which line items are not included in GDP calculations. So pause and see if you can figure out which of these would not be included. Okay, hopefully you've been able to identify it. One that would not be included is used cars sold. So you'd want to cross that out. Cross it out all the way across, because otherwise you might accidentally calculate this later in GDP if you don't cross these out. I'm just going to go ahead and cross it out on all three, just to make sure I don't get confused later. So used cars is definitely not included in GDP. There's another one that's not included in GDP. That is stock. Okay, we said any financial capital, stock, bonds, etc., that's not calculated in GDP. So you would cross that out on all of them. So you don't include this in any way. Now, the rest of these you have to figure out whether they're going to be added to GDP or subtracted from GDP. Haircuts at Great Clips, added. Imported avocados. That means we are buying stuff from another country. Money is going out. We're not producing this. Someone else is producing this. So we wouldn't add this to a gross domestic product, as in being produced. So this one would be subtracted because we're paying for another country to produce it. And then new laptops produced. We assume they're here. Exported pork. Now, someone else is buying, we're producing the pork, and some other country's buying it from us. That is definitely our production. We would add that to GDP. So, 15 times 4 is 60. This has done the math for you, so all you need to do is ultimately get your GDP total. So, we take, as we have written here, 60 plus, oh, not plus, the next one is minus. Let's change that. Minus 50. The next one is plus 800 plus 150 equals 960. So that's what we would put for our GDP total, 960. Now, we've already done our crossing out. Let's go ahead and fill these in like we did before. And I'll do it on the back side as well. Plus, avocados minus, plus, just like we had on the front. All right. Now, I just added, sorry, it was not on the screen, I added these plus and minuses exactly the way they were before, here and on the back side as well. Right here. Okay, so now, we do the same thing as we did before, only realize this is now year 2. Some of the prices have gone up. There's been inflation. Doesn't change the way we do things. Clear this. 125 minus 120 plus 1,500 plus 240 equals, okay, here's GDP, nominal GDP, for year 2. Now, oops, got in the wrong spot. Sorry, 1745. Okay. Now, this is nominal GDP for year 2. This is nominal GDP for year 1. Now, by how much has nominal GDP increased between year 1 and year 2? Then you just find the difference between these two numbers. So, to find the difference, 1745 minus, so 1745 minus 960. That gives us the difference between those two numbers, and the difference is 785. It's increased. Nominal GDP has increased 785. But that doesn't tell us whether the economy has grown. We have to find out what real GDP is for year 2 so that we can find out if there's real growth. So, the way that you do this for year 2, first of all, you want to use the price index for year 1 so that year 1 and year 2 will be comparable in terms of prices. So 15, just going to put these prices, 15, 10, 15, 10, 200, 30. All right, I'm going to take the prices from year 1, $15, $10, 200, 30. But we're trying to find the real GDP for year 2. So we've got to know what was actually produced in year 2. Find out what was produced in year 2, we have to go to the quantity. We have to go to the quantity of year 2. Okay, so 5, 6, 5, 6. 5, 6, 5, 6. All right, now we have to do multiplication here. 15 times 5. 5 is 75. 10 times 6 is 60. 200 times 5 is 1,000. 30 times 6 is 180. All right, so then we do our GDP total of real GDP. 75 plus, minus 60 plus 1,000 plus 180 gives me 1195. All right, now finally, how many dollars was nominal GDP overstated in year 2? Okay, so if this is the real GDP, we've got to find out how much different nominal GDP is from real GDP for year 2. So to find the difference, we take 1745 minus 1195, and that gives us $550. It's overstated by $550. So how much has real GDP increased from year 1 to year 2? Now, real GDP, since year 1, take a look, since year 1 is the index for year 2, that means for year 1, we're looking at here both nominal GDP and real GDP. Since these prices are being used as the index, this is both nominal and real for year 1. So we want to know how much real GDP has increased. Here's real GDP for year 2. Here's real GDP for year 1. Find the difference. So 1195 minus 960 equals 235. 235. Now, lastly, down here, what is the total GDP for this economy? So there's 4 times 200 is 800. That tells us what, now this is manufacturing conveyor belt, so that is, that's investment, that's I. One state, the dam, $400, and that's government, that would be G. And 2 manicures, that's consumption. And 2 times 30 is 60. All right, so then we add those all together to find out total GDP. 800 plus 400 plus 60 equals $1,260. is total GDP. And then we've got to find out for consumption, which is this one, what percentage of this is consumption. So then we take 60 divided by the total to get the percentage. 1260 equals, so that's about 4 to 5%. Consumption is 5%, okay, in this economy. Then investment, that's this one. We want to know what percentage this is from the total of the economy. So 800 divided by, 800 divided by the total equals 63%. So investment is 63% of this economy. And then lastly, we want to know about government spending. Here's our government spending. So we want to find out what percentage this is of this. We take 400 and divide it by 1260 equals 32%. And that's how you calculate GDP.